Hey, what's up everybody? This is Dave from netcodesource.com, and in this video series I'm going to be going over a rotational guide on DE Inferno. So to start out, we're going to go over the most basic setup, which is a passive CT setup, and the setup that the majority of teams are going to play, and how they rotate and why they rotate. So to start out, you're going to have 5 CTs, obviously. We're going to assume they're playing passive and you have map control. So the CTs are going to have one guy B in sight, one guy B in CT spawn, then you're going to have one guy arches, usually around moto or library, generally your opper, one player site, and one player pit. Now, let's assume the terrorists have map control. They have halls control, so they have about 3 guys in the halls. They have one guy in alt, or bench, or red car, doesn't matter which one, and they have one guy holding logs. So, those are the 5 B players. This player is one player, and then these 3 players are in the halls, and then this player is holding them off B. This is what's going to happen once you start your A take. So, say this is a smoke, and you smoke up porch, or excuse me, you smoke up the arches, and you want to make your path up porch and out halls. When you do that, and you start making all that noise, this player is going to immediately rotate to spawn. And he's gonna play around the statue or in the arches, or he's gonna spot like this. This library player is sometimes he's gonna stay library, but oftentimes he's gonna come to moto and play around here so that he could help them when they come up porch and end halls, and he can help the site guy and the pit guy. So essentially, if you do that, they should have 3 CTs there if they're playing a passive setup. Now, if you guys end up going up on the arch as a terrorist, instead of going porch, this player is still going to be there, but this player is going to stay library, and they're going to have a crossfire there. Once that happens, these players at porch and pit, they have 2 options. They could either stay there, or they can get aggressive, or they could fall over to here and help. And now you would all of a sudden have 3 people fighting you with the arches. So those are the proper rotations that you could have at A. Finally, the B player is going to either stay site and he's going to rotate through spawn, or he could rotate through B and flank. But this B player needs to be very, very patient, and he either has to rotate when you see bomb, and even then he has to be very careful of lurkers, of the terrorists staying around team middle or alt. So that's going to be a basic rotational guide of what's going to happen if you hit the A site on a default CT setup, either going up the porch or going up the ramp. To further explain, I'm going to show you simply what happens when you're the B player. From here, when noise starts happening, he rotates towards here and he picks up the arches. Now, when they go towards porch and halls, the library player is going to rotate out of library and come towards moto to help anybody jumping out into the site or into the pit. That's what's going to happen on an A take. So essentially, the banana player picks up the arches, and this player is able to float around arches and A site. Next, we have the arch take. Once the arch take happens, the banana player is again going to rotate through here. The library player can either stay library or he can go to moto yet again. And once that happens, if they start taking arches, they have a crossfire from one player in the arches and one player here. Now, once that happens, the site player can either come and he can even help. The pit player has to play very disciplined and stay there. And now this site player has options. He can either come and help and even try to kill them with 3 people there, or he can get aggressive porch and cut off that lane right here, like so. Or if you think they're going to hold it fine, he could simply stay here and hold. Those are the options that all the players at A have. Again, to reiterate, the player in Pope or Pit has to be very disciplined, and he cannot move from his spot, and he's kind of the anchor at the A site. Now, the banana player that's dedicated to B is similar to the Pit player. He's the anchor. he has to stay at all costs. If they try to sneak bomb, he has to kill them, and he has to play for a lot of information. Now, if he sees bomb, he could still rotate through spawn or banana, but again, he has to be very, very patient. He has to clear everything very methodically, and if he dies, it's going to make the round very tough, because if someone is delaying and they want to kill him, and they do, the C's might have the option of going all the way back to B and planting. So the two anchors at A and B need to be very disciplined, very patient, and